We're live. Thanks everybody for hanging out. This is the pre-show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. Thanks everybody for joining.
The pre-show
holiday Sunday. It's American holiday.
Anyway. It's not a holiday.
It's American holiday.
It's not a holiday. The banks are already closed.
Yeah, thanks everybody. This is the pre-show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. Segment one, we'll talk about that big event happening today, at least a little bit.
Do we really want to talk about the big event?
Got some 2021 sales figures to talk about.
Oh,
new DC event announced. A new Secret Invasion prequel comic. And then, depending on how much time we have left, new milestone book announced. New X-Men villain, and then yes, of course, Book of Boba Fett, the finale.
I sure do love my kaiju fights.
Yeah, he's a tiny kaiju. He's very tiny kaiju. He's baby kaiju. Got some peanut butter in food news. No moment of destruction because again,
I contributed something.
You contributed lame things. Girls dressed up to look like cosplay Transformers is lame.
Yeah,
and
but it's a legit product. Though.
It is. I know. I think the Busuji, whatever it's called, I think is lame. I think it's weird. No kink shaming here. That's just my opinion.
There's no kink shaming in those. Actually, my only complaint about the Megatron, about the Megatron one is they should have given her longer hair and bangs so she could pull off that head style that Megatron had, the G1 Megatron had. Give her a Sasuke from Kill la Kill haircut.
You're in too deep, bro. And the Transformers Lego thing you said is still a rumor, but very exciting rumor. It sucks. I got to buy another fucking Optimus Prime, but to the comments,
and
Andy,
you will do it.
Oh, I will definitely buy an Optimus Prime Lego. Fuck yeah, to go with the 10 I have up here. But hey, Andy, thanks for coming by. Yes, we'll talk about the foosball in just a moment, and then we'll wrap it up with some comic book reviews. Kind of a week, but we'll see how it goes. Dave, do you have anything to add to this week's show besides naked Autobots or Lego?
That Optimus Prime is not naked. Actually, the hairstyle actually really works well with her too.
Very hot figures. Cybertronian beach action.
Now, the thing I don't get is why they didn't choose to do RC and Alita 1.
But dude, that doesn't make any sense in the context of the only other cool ones of these that I've seen, what you're talking about, were Freddy Krueger, Mike Myers, Texas Chainsaw has one. Basically what they do is they take really hot girls, turn them into statues, and then add themes that don't really match at all. Hey, Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
You guys talking about David's Transformers things there?
Yeah, do they have those that style of statue for anything you can imagine?
Yeah, I totally believe it. I mean, I never thought there was an audience out there for, hey, should we make a sexy Optimus Prime?
Should we make a sexy Optimus Prime?
Should we make a Megatron that gets people hard? But apparently that's a thing. Yeah. So.
Awesome. On that note, let's start this. I don't know what else to say to that. It's a Megatron that gets you hard. Oh my gosh, there's all kinds of stuff they've added. Hold on, let's try this.
Gomer has discovered the features.
Background music.
That's way too classy sounding for this.
Now you and your friends have met in a tavern.
We're not this cool, Gomer. You need to get rid of it.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I miss Adam. I think we are at fault this week though for him not showing up.
A bunch of goddamn nerds.
It's true.
Nerds.
Sports themed this week.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, kinda.
At least he's not a giant finger.
I know what you're talking about, and I wish I didn't.
Yeah, right. Greetings, geeks. Welcome back to this early Sunday edition of this Geek and Comics, Outright Geekery's comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
Gomer, aka David Taylor. Adam was set to come back this week, but we were kind of late on letting him know that we were going to start early.
I'm not sure what you mean by we. I mean, you're the one who sent out the message.
I know. I did speak with him in a separate chat, and he's just been so busy. You know, his work is actually moving locations, so he's just really beat. You know, he's having to move stuff back and forth around Nashville. I get that. But yeah, I mentioned, hey, you're going to be for the show. He's like, oh yeah, I'll definitely be there. And then just earlier today, like noon, I was like, oh yeah, we doing the show early because there's a big football game on. And
I think we could have.
I mean, we'll probably get the same amount of.
It's the big game, and
we'll probably get the same amount of viewers that we do when there's not a big Super Bowl going on. But
Superb Owl.
Yeah, Superb Owl going on. But I actually want to watch at least a halftime show in the commercials. Halftime show is right up my alley.
I mean, they kind of get even the nerd market now because they're going to be dropping a bunch of trailers and shit, you know?
Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah. And not that everything isn't already available for the most part, like just before the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? If you just wanted to, or just after, you know, if you just wanted to skip it. But
true enough.
Halftime this year is like 90s gangster rap, smoking weed, smacking
Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, and they had to drown out the practice materials with Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Anybody who is into the halftime show this year at the Super Bowl, please schedule your colonoscopy. That's very important. But speaking of the Super Bowl LVI for Lovey. Who you got, guys? I got the Bengals by a touchdown. That's my guess for this year's big game.
You know, this year, like, I don't know, like, who I would really favor. I also don't really have a rooting interest for the first time in a while. Yeah. Like, I've never felt this neutral about a Super Bowl that I can remember, because at least when, like, you know, Tom Brady's in there, I can be like, I want Tom Brady to lose. So whoever is playing Tom Brady, beat him.
Yeah.
You know?
Somehow he's retired, not playing in the game. I still think he's going to be the MVP. That's just me, though. I don't.
Man, fuck him. He would find a way to do it. Piece of shit. Oh, well.
So who you got?
I'll go ahead and say the Rams. I think that, you know, they seem pretty evenly matched to me, and the Rams are playing in their home stadium, which I know that won't necessarily give them a big crowd advantage, but, you know, they got to use their facilities and, you know, not have to travel all week. I think that might give them a bit of an edge, you know?
They get to sleep in their own beds.
Yeah, you know? And, you know, that's not nothing.
It's not. You're absolutely right. No spread on that. You don't have any point gauge.
Nah.
I think
it'll be close, but I couldn't get more specific than that.
Dave, do you have a prediction, and do you give a shit?
I don't give a shit because
awesome.
One of these teams I don't give a fuck about.
On the flip side of that, what are we hoping for in terms of commercials, trailers?
I'm hoping to see some, like, more clips from Moon Knight, maybe. That's coming out, like, next month, you know, so they're probably going to be building up that hype machine.
Are we getting a trailer for this Lord of the Rings show on Amazon?
We could. I mean, we're getting pretty close to that time, so, you know, it'd be a good time for it.
And they did drop a bunch of images.
They did. All these character posters and things. Very cool. Very exciting. I'm very stoked to just revisit this universe. I kind of feel like at this point, because, all right, the Hobbit trilogy, not bad at all. Not Lord of the Rings.
Well, okay, Lord of the Rings is my favorite set of movies of all time. So The Hobbit was never going to live up to that, and that's, you know, not fair to expect it to. And I don't think the show will either, but, you know, I think it will be... It has the potential to be pretty cool. Yeah, it could be fun. It's stories we have not really seen adapted to live action before. As far as I'm aware, not even like back in like the 60s when they were making all those schlocky adaptations of Lord of the Rings. They never attempted
animated
this, you know?
Shit, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Lord of the Rings, I kind of feel the same way as I do with Star Wars. Revisiting that place is always fun, you know. All right, well, let's get into news then, I guess. Industry inside news, not really inside, it was released, but good news for the industry overall. Comic book sales, graphic novels were up 65% in 2021, periodicals up 49% in 2021. According to figures released by Bookscan, graphic novel sales in 21 were up 65% from 2020. Now, mostly driven by, you guessed it, manga sales.
Yeah, I mean, manga is catching on more and more. I mean, the TV shows are getting more popular, and so a lot of people are going to go back to that source material, you know?
For sure.
And nowadays, with
God.
the anime series, they can
breaking our ears there,
follow.
David.
Yeah, they can just follow it right up, dude.
Yeah.
But most sectors showed growth. Second part of that news, Comicron's John Jackson Miller projects that 2021 direct market comic shop sales were up 36%, $600 million, with comics up nearly 50%. So yeah, the direct market sales of comic books and graphic novels projected around $600 million. When the projections for DC and Random House are added to the diamond total. All right, so these are still projections, okay? It's an overall increase of around 160 million or 36% over 2020, and an increase of about 14% from over the pandemic year of 2019. Comic books were a large part of it. So yeah, finally on this, all right, because we're talking about overall comic shop health, Wizards of the Coast sold over $950 million in tabletop games in 2021. Just huge. I mean, Magic D&D.
I mean, we are living in the golden age of nerdy activities, you know?
It really does.
Well, at least in the sense that, like, D&D is so ubiquitous now, right?
Yes.
Like, we're so used to this idea of, like, you know, being a pariah for, like, liking tabletop games, or at the very least, you know, not expecting people to like, you know, share the interest at the very least.
Yeah,
right?
it still feels fringe.
Now, how much of this is factored by Critical Role?
It wasn't heard, I'm sure, you know.
Yeah, and what you mean by Critical Role is entertainment, the entertainment side, correct?
I mean, I mean, not just Critical Role, but we have a wealth of different podcasts and like celebrity shows, like based around people playing games. There was like Harvard Quest and like Adventure Time and all these other, not Adventure Time, Adventure Zone.
Yeah, Adventure Time fits in there a little bit.
But
it
like
feeds off that stuff.
It's kind of got, I guess, some D&D energy to it, I suppose.
For sure. So tabletop games accounted for 74% of the $1.3 billion in sales for the entire segment. It grew at a blistering 44% rate. Digital games were 26% of that segment, okay? The gaming segment from Wizards of the Coast reported an operating profit of $547 million for the year. That's 72% of Hasbro's total operating profit. That's amazing, dude. 72% of Hasbro's overall profit came from D&D and Magic cards, basically. That blows my mind. You know, this that is making billions of dollars off Transformers movies and selling, you know, all these action figures, got Marvel contracts, you know, just doing everything. That's not where the money's at. The money is in books and cards.
Yeah,
it boggles my mind.
And Wizards has been putting out a lot of just like, you know, really like the secret layer kind of releases and stuff. So it's not like it's not like, you know, you're just getting like your core set and your type 2 sets.
Well, they had that
like
D&D
all these
set too, you know.
Yeah, the D&D set. The D&D set was, you know, would be considered like type 2.
Yeah.
But they have like, you know, these like little one-off, or not one-off deals, but these like limited releases of like the secret layer, and they've had a lot of crossovers. Like most recently, I can remember Walking Dead crossover.
Exactly. That's really an inventive way to sell your product, you know, and get it into the hands of people who wouldn't otherwise buy it, but your stuff is being sold in that same space. It's genius.
Over on the D&D side of things, all these damn books cost like $50 a pop. So yeah, they're definitely getting a lot of return on the sales there.
Oh, for sure.
And they put out like about 3-4 books a year.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, the pipeline for putting out books is so much more than it used to be. I think there were at least 3 or 4 books that came out just last year. There was Tasha's. I'm not sure it's Fizban's Treasury of Dragons got in under the wire there.
Fizban's Treasury of Dragons came out like late.
Yeah, and there's also, I think they also had that Magic the Gathering like college setting, like Grimhaven or something.
Strixhaven.
Cool.
That's it.
Strixhaven.
Yeah, and I know they've got 2 books already. One's coming out next month, and then there's another one after that. The follow up to the Critical Role book, the Wilds, the Wildmount book. They've got the Nether Deep.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like another Mordecai book coming out.
They are really cranking these things out, though, is the bottom line. And they are starting, not to toot our own horns here, but they finally started listening to us and releasing Magic D&D like synergy here,
Yeah, more is more, dude. And
I'm genuinely shocked they weren't doing this like 10 years ago.
It seems like such low-hanging fruit to combine these 2 fantasy properties.
Those properties shake hands really well, and you own both of them. Why the fuck haven't you been doing this?
Yeah. So this franchises, Dungeons & Dragons and Magic and D&D are set to have on-screen adaptations later this year and into next year. It's an animated Magic show on Netflix, and a live series D&D movie, and a series, live action series and a movie for D&D.
I'm hoping the D&D thing will like kind of embrace like a goofy angle. Honestly, like the lore of D&D is fine, but like I feel like you'd get a lot more out of it if you kind of captured like I've seen like people making joke posts about all the characters should be like whenever a character dies, they get replaced by the same actor in a different role.
That's kind of happening with the Legend of Vox Machina.
It is
in a way
they are doing that.
And then all the speaking characters beside the main party are all played by the same actor, just like dressed up in different clothes.
Right. Chris Cox will be taking over as the head of CEO or the CEO of Hasbro starting on February 25th. He currently serves as the president and COO of Wizards of the Coast. So yeah, this is definitely a move that makes sense given these numbers, right? Terrible name, best job in the fucking world, Chris Cox. All right, moving on from that. But just to say, overall for those stories, comic shops are in a great spot right now.
Yeah, and I love to hear it.
Me too. Helping out, Dark Crisis is coming. The next tentpole event for DC.
Is this going to be like Into the Dark Universe?
Not really. After the death of the Justice League, which we all know is coming, we have talked about it before. That's happening in Justice League number 75, but it is setting up something bigger. Joshua Williamson and Daniel Sampier team for 7-issue event series Dark Crisis. There's going to be a free comic book day, Dark Crisis number 0, and a one-shot Justice League Road to Dark Crisis will be on sale May 31st. Here are some of the covers to those.
Honestly, I'm just excited that Bendis isn't writing it.
Yeah,
I'm much more excited. I'm much more likely to read this event with Joshua Williamson being the writer,
In the original Crisis on Infinite Earths, Wolfman and Perez, the homeworld of Pariah, along with the Infinite Multiverse, was obliterated. Now this mad soul survivor has found a way to bring his homeworld and the Infinite Multiverse back from the dead. Earth Zero must die. An ancient destructive force called the Great Darkness, which first appeared in Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, is the weapon Pariah will wield to pave to rebirth and vengeance, blah, 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 blah. So there you go.
I'm honestly surprised they haven't used Dark Crisis yet,
It seems like, it's pretty common given.
It seems like the type of name you would come up with if you were trying to do like a parody of a DC Crisis.
Right.
But, I'll probably check it out. I'm liking this artwork. I like Joshua Williamson. So, yeah, this looks like it should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely checking this out. It looks really fucking cool. We've also learned about some of the bad guys. Pariah is pulling the strings, but it looks like it's going to be, and this is just a snippet taken
like
from
a who's
a bigger
who
picture.
Looks like we got Eclipso,
Doomsday,
Darkseid,
Doomsday.
yeah, Doomsday back there.
Ares.
Why the fuck is Deathstroke with all of these like
I have
cosmic
no idea.
beings? That's idiotic.
And he's at the forefront there, so I don't know if
that's such nonsense.
It's weird, dude.
These
but
are all
Necron,
like extinction level bad guys,
right?
and then just a fucking mercenary, you know?
Yeah,
they gotta have somebody to deal with Batman.
Right.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, this looks pretty cool. Spectre is in there too for some reason. I don't know if he's going to actually be a bad guy or not, but he's usually neutral in these things. But okay, let's talk about Dan Didio and 5G. Jace Fox became the new Batman. John Kent became the new Superman. Yara Flor is on her way to becoming the new Wonder Woman. Jackson Hyde, again, he's got his own little event happening, but he's on his way. And Punchline definitely for sure became the new Harley Quinn as Harley, had this nice streak, this good streak. So while they threw that away, it feels like they're still doing it. And this Dark Crisis feels like, because it's talking about how, Crisis on Infinite Earths, Pariah, the whole Infinite Universe was obliterated and he's trying to bring it back. That kind of feels like what they were talking about with 5G. So it's like, what is really going on at DC Comics? Again, I'm excited for this event, but wow.
I mean,
what is going on?
I don't know what the hell happened that imploded 5G in the first place. Maybe it was the fact that it had an incredibly stupid name.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't begrudge them just like picking through their own recycling bin,
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, it probably had good bones. It just had, some bad outer skin.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I'm not sure. We will have more on that as we get more on that. Talking about big events, the Secret Invasion was a 2008 8-issue series by Bendis and Francis Yu that was really sort of peak Marvel at the time, in terms of the decade of decadence that Bendis had doing all his events. But they are doing a prequel.
I have no idea.
Know. Incredible Squirrel Girl writer Ryan North will write a 5-issue limited Secret Invasion series. Francesco Mobili will do the art. It's not a sequel, although the 2008 event will not be wiped away and the characters will remember what happened. The new series stands alone as a complete story. North is saying that this is really going to be Maria Hill's story.
Now, are they trying to capitalize on the coming Secret War?
Of course they are.
Secret Invasion that
is in my notes.
Well, yeah. I mean,
they want exactly what they are doing.
I mean, what else are they going to do? Like release like a new volume of the Secret Invasion from a few years ago? This seems like a much more profitable way to do it. No, I didn't mind Secret Invasion. I thought it was a
liked it
story.
Quite a bit.
There was a lot to like about it. But
there was an issue in there, issue 4 or 5, where Iron Man has a complete fucking breakdown because he doesn't know if he's a Skrull or not. He doesn't know what his next move should be. And it was so poignant and meaningful to me at that time. There's a special place in my heart for Secret Invasion. It was a whole lot of fun.
I mean, Ryan North is a great writer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to hear his name attached to this, though. He usually does more kind of like lighthearted stuff.
Lighthearted, smaller stuff.
That being said, he wrote an issue of that like horror anthology they were doing towards the end of last year.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what it was called. The Darkhold stuff.
Darkhold.
That issue with Iron Man that he wrote, that was creepy as shit. Nice. So he actually does a pretty solid job writing a horror story. So, man, the man's got range. I guess we'll see what he does with this, too.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. I'm not all in on the whole thing like I am for Dark Crisis, but I'm definitely checking out the first issue.
Yeah.
Something I am definitely in on. More announcements over at the Dakotaverse, otherwise known as Milestone. Blood Syndicate returns. DC and Milestone Media confirmed plans today to launch Blood Syndicate Season 1 on May 10th. Comic book shops and digital platforms. Yeah, dude. Blood Syndicate was one of those things that popped out of Milestone back in the day. The 3 main guys are coming back: Tech 9, Wise Son, and Fade. It's a new incarnation. It reunites the original members. Icon and Rocket have been cleaning up the streets of drug trafficking. Other Bang Babies have been forming rival gang factions at this time. Holocaust has been doing some recruiting of his own. gathering a superpowered army to rule Paris Island with an iron fist. As he gains more and more influence, who's looking out for the people when the other Dakota heroes aren't around? And what secrets are Wise Son Tech 9 hiding from their time overseas? Man, this just sounds like it's picking up right where the other, series went off. And Milestone shit has been dope.
Yeah. I'm looking. I like the way that, like they're making it sound like they're really, dovetailing the series together pretty well. And yeah, this Static especially, but also Icon and Rocket and Hardware is probably the weakest of the bunch, but it's still pretty good.
It's still good, yeah.
Yeah.
Icon and Rocket's been pretty good.
Yeah, so look out for that on May 10th. Dexter Soy is doing a cover. Did I even tell you who was doing the art and the writing? Jeffrey Thorne is doing the writing, and Chris Cross and Juan Castro are doing the art. So back to Destiny of X. Still coming. We'll talk about some of the books some of the X books that are coming out this week later on. But they have announced that there's a new character called Mother Righteous, who is coming to Legion of X number 2 in May. Cy Spurrier and drawn by Jan Balzadula. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, I told you, man. I just got a bunch of shitty quick hits this week. It was a very light week in terms of news. Jamie McKelvey doing the Mother Righteous designs here.
I mean, she looks interesting, but like, I don't know how to react. I don't
exactly
know what the whole deal is right now.
Yeah. They don't really say a lot about her. She's not really a villain. She's not really a hero. She's gonna have this thing with Legion, so.
We talked about this before, but that Way of X book, which is basically what the same thing as this Legion of X book was, it was like a
bottom tier.
It was a lot of good ideas, but like it really went up its own ass a bunch.
It was definitely bottom tier. I got a lot of confidence that the potential is going to be seen in these X books, but otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, with Cy Spurrier writing, it's going to be pretty good.
He wrote
a good writer.
He wrote a pretty good book this week. It didn't make my top 3, but it was still solid. Mostly because of the art, though. All right, finally in news, last episode, the finale, episode 7 of the Book of Boba Fett, entitled In the Name of Honor. Great episode, full of fun, full of action.
Yeah.
A bit predictable.
I would say so, yeah. I mean, you knew that writing the Rancor was going to happen at some point,
Definitely. For sure.
But, okay, so I've seen people saying that there was, like, a lot of fan wankery on this episode.
Oh, yeah, it was nothing but fan service.
But, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, we seem to get that with the Marvel movies, so why can't we get that with Star Wars?
Oh, for sure, dude. Definitely. These droids.
This was kind of the Avengers coming together from like the Boba Fett or like the Mando era, at least,
Yeah. These droids learned how to shoot from stormtroopers, obviously, because they didn't kill a single person.
No, they really suck. But,
they were just fucking
the evolution of droidicas. Yeah.
That wall that the good guys hide behind, that thing must have been the sturdiest motherfucking wall in this damn town. Because everything else was being torn apart like, fucking paper mache, but that wall stood up to like...
Say all you want about sand, Anakin. The sand on Tatooine is strong.
Evidently.
It's as strong as Beskar.
But like, so that's indicative of like this whole episode to me, though, because like, that's stupid, but I don't mind.
Exactly.
Like they did a lot of things that you just kind of have to accept that this doesn't really hold up to scrutiny, but it was in service of trying to give us something fun, But yeah, Cad Bane and Boba's duel was pretty cool.
Which is nice. Which is a really
Western.
Which is a nice throwback to like some Clone War era episodes.
Yeah. I got the droid again. Him eating the Rancor eating some dude. That's his go-to.
One of the Pike. Yeah.
These Pikes are terrible either. They can't fucking shoot either.
Do the Pikes taste like fish?
I guess you'll have to ask the Rancor, but Grogu was pretty. He was fun in this episode.
Yeah. I think the big takeaway here at the end was that Cobb Vanth is not dead. Of course, we knew he wasn't. It's not necessarily so that Cad Bane died either. He was beep, beep, beep in there at the end. He's got all kinds of gizmos hooked up to him. So
I think they just kind of left that intentionally ambiguous. I mean, he could be dead, or they could decide they have a use for him later, and so they left themselves an out.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Darth Maul. You know, you saw him fall in the pit. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he's dead."
He was like cleaved into.
1,000%, they did not have plans to use him later. I would say,
dude. I don't know. I think Lucas left that open ended.
Well, look at it this way: Anakin survived being burned alive on a lava planet.
That's true.
So I think
nobody dies.
There's
okay,
like super science or dark magics that
I think the only good guys who died were like the pig monster dudes, and even then, I'm not 100%.
The Gamorrean died.
Yeah, and they didn't even get shot. The Syndicate pushed them off a cliff like some bitches.
So honestly, that's why I think that they honestly could be alive if they wanted them to be alive later.
Yeah, they fell in a river.
Gamorreans are pretty hardy.
Yeah, they fell in a river. The only fucking people who die in this fucking franchise are the ones who die of a broken heart or choose to, you know? And even when you're fucking dead, your ghost is still running around.
Or basically are expendable.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody fucking cares. Han Solo.
But I guess we could also like talk about the series as a whole at this point.
Let's do that. That was the last thing on my list. Go ahead.
Well, looks like we're on the same page.
Always.
But I like the show, but we've already talked about how did this need to be its own series? We could have just had like a sidebar in season 3 of The Mandalorian if you wanted to do all this Boba Fett stuff.
Agreed.
I think if they had just not called it the Book of Boba Fett and maybe called it Tales from the Outer Rim, it probably would have worked a lot better.
Wow, listen to you.
I guess, but that doesn't fix like not necessarily a problem, but an issue with this show where 2 of those episodes were straight up episodes in The Mandalorian.
They were.
You cannot watch season 3 of The Mandalorian without watching this, whatever they chose to call it.
100%. That is a problem as well. But it's not like any Star Wars fan who would watch Mando season 3 is going to skip this.
And it is on a streaming service that you already had anyway. So
and I think they know what they're doing in that respect.
Yeah, that makes it palatable, but still.
I would have more of a problem with the Mando episodes if they weren't the 2 fucking best episodes of the series.
They absolutely were. Yeah,
so
especially episode 5.
Mad. It's hard for me to be mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it does seem silly to be upset about something where, like, you enjoyed it. I think that commenter last week at the Daisy Chain put it well. Yeah. It's like they brought you the wrong cake.
Yes, I wanted chocolate cake. They brought me vanilla.
Cake.
I like vanilla cake, but I wanted chocolate cake. So I'm stoked. I want a Book of Boba Fett season 2. I want more of this sort of shit. This felt more like a first chapter of the Book of Boba Fett for sure.
You could say that. I guess I would also say though that like the parts of this series I like the best were not the thing that we were expecting coming into it. Like
expectations were definitely a problem.
The expectation was that we were going to see like, Star Wars Sopranos.
Yes.
We were going to see like
shit.
Yeah, gangster crime drama. And that was the least compelling part of this series. The stuff with Boba's past with the Banthas was more compelling. And certainly the stuff with Mando was more compelling. Again, not to say that
with the Sand People.
Yeah, not to say that the gangster stuff was bad. It was just, it was
like
probably
it took a back seat.
Yeah, it seemed like it was not the priority, and as a result, it was kind of the weakest part of this show.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of politicking.
And there really wasn't a lot of politicking. I mean, it was sort of like they were doing gangster shit, but it wasn't like going and shooting each other. It was, let's talk about the gangster shit we're going to do. And then they never did it. I don't know. It was still solid. I still had a great time with it. It felt like a Western to me, throughout. And I'm cool with that.
So I definitely enjoyed it, but I feel like if I go back and rewatch it, knowing what I'm actually in for, I'll enjoy it more than, going in and not getting what I was expecting,
Yep. Cool. So what's our next Disney Plus MCU or?
It's going to be Moon Knight, which
Moon
I think
Knight,
up next month.
We might get a potential trailer drop for Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan is probably coming out in the summer. I think Moon Knight is
Obi-Wan
March.
is coming out May 25th. That's already been confirmed.
Yeah. So I think that makes me think that Moon Knight is March. Hey, David, research guy, could you double check the release date for Moon Knight?
Moon Knight is March.
Hell yeah.
It looks great. Everything we've seen so far, it looks like they're really going to capture the Spectre character, his craziness, his insanity, his heroism.
Yeah, that first trailer
very unique.
Made it look trippy as balls, which is entirely appropriate for a show about Moon Knight.
Yeah, and have you seen the new image of him in the
suit?
Oh yeah, of him
Mr.
as
Knight.
Mr. Knight.
Yeah.
That's a good look for him. I'm glad they're bringing it into the show.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, we'll have more on TV whenever there is more TV to watch. Let's get into some gross food news.
Yummy.
The exact drop date for the Moon Knight is the 30th of March.
Oh, good.
David,
So
you
we got
were
about
like
a month.
really coming in hot when we're coming off of the.
Well, you said research guy. Look
you did great.
No, not that. It's just like you were very,
loud.
You're very loud when we're coming in off of the clips that Gomer shares.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
I haven't done any adjusting.
Oh, I blame Gomer,
stuff.
but
it's my fault.
Okay.
Food news this week: Zotac Gaming has released the first peanut butter for gamers. The world's first gamers peanut butter, real freeze-dried blueberries and strawberries, is added into their peanut butter.
So
how does that make it for gamers?
I don't know. Are you ready for the really gross part? I mean, it looks disgusting.
It doesn't look great.
I don't need that. I don't need fruit in my peanut butter. That just seems
that's
gross,
why we have jelly.
This is why there's fruit in the peanut butter. Unlike other peanut butter, Pong, which is what they're calling this, is made to be eaten directly from the spoon. So what you're going to have some fucker on Halo kicking your ass and then sucking this shit off of the spoon. It's fucking nasty. This is available at jobbynutbutter.com.
So it's like peanut butter yogurt then, I guess?
I don't know if it's yogurt, but it's fucking gross.
I don't know.
It's nasty.
I'm
going to get me some as soon as I can. I'm going to get me some as soon as I can. I can't wait.
Well, I guess you can report in on that because, that does not appeal to me.
Right? No moment of destruction this week, although Dave did try his hardest to slip some things in.
I did. I genuinely did.
Yeah, he showed us that Megatron that's supposed to get you hard.
If Optimus Prime Lego is confirmed, it's only a rumor right now. We will showcase it on a future moment of destruction because I'll have to buy that damn thing. But until then, week, top 3. I think I'm going to go first. All the X-Men goods were above par. One was better than the other, and I'll talk about that in a bit. The other two were just okay, but I think my actual honorable mention will be a call out for a book called The Fourth Man, #2. Just really solid. It's Jeff McCombsy, Lee Luffridge, and Mike Deodato are doing it. It's that photo referential artwork.
It was a good book. It was a good book, but it wasn't worthy of a honorable mention or top 3 for me.
Okay, that's fine. There's this air of mystery to the whole thing that keeps me coming back, and I'm really anxious to see, where that's going to end up. So my number 3 though this week is Devil's Reign, #4.
Hey, that's going
to be my number 3 as well.
Excellent. That's everybody's number 3.
Consensus number 3.
Yeah. Oh wow, this will be a quick and easy go at it. This is a fantastic issue. It had a lot of filler, okay, but it was still very entertaining filler. The Fantastic Four breaking out of prison, Matt going to visit Foggy after this time jump, Matt and his brother having their interactions. Very cool, building up the drama.
Yeah, I liked all the character interactions. Go ahead. But yeah, this final page, though.
It's all about Kingpin. It's all about Fisk using the power of the Purple Man, which he's been using the whole time to basically get over on the entire world. But he asked it to give him his memories back, basically. He wants to remember, and now he does, and it is on Matt Murdock. He remembers who Daredevil is.
That is such a great stinger page.
It is such a good cliffhanger. I mean,
and I love how and I love how they're kind of just directly telling us, yes, this is a Born Again reference.
Oh, for sure.
And I do like the artwork because it kind of feels like a throwback to the Miller era.
It does look like Frank Miller work. Yeah, this was very good aping of his style here.
I think that was on purpose, like you were alluding to, Taylor. Yeah, this is going right back to where basically Daredevil had his own sort of, remembering moment back in some other series. So very excited to see where this goes. There's still 2 issues of this?
I believe so. Yeah,
a lot.
But yeah,
the thing that did drag in some places.
It did. That last page definitely was the highlight of the issue, but I also really enjoyed all the character interaction they laced throughout this. I really like Fisk interacting with his son Butch. I really like Matt interacting with Foggy and interacting with his brother.
And I like the fact that when Fisk told the Thunderbolts to go after the Purple Man's kids, that the Rhino pretty much had a change of heart.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a good character building moment for him. I also really like Smarmy Otto just fucking being a super dick at the beginning of this issue.
It's so cool. All the Ottos are just fucking crazy cool in this, man. Their book sucks. Their tie-in book.
Their book, I'm sure, is garbage, but they're fun here at least.
Oh, they are so much fun. So yeah, my number 3 and everybody else's number 3 is Devil's Reign number 4. So how do we want to do this? Dave, we'll start over. Dave, do your honorable mentions and then your number 2.
My honorable mentions. All right. Radiant Black number 12.
Not bad.
It gave you kind of the background on I think it's Radiant Pink. Daisy number
Yellow.
Yellow was the other guy in the
dude working at Best Buy.
At Best Buy.
Yeah, weird. So
weird.
And
he introduces her to the Radiant Zero that gives her powers, and then she gets these awesome powers, and her girlfriend breaks up with her.
Yeah.
So
I think it was just bad timing.
Yeah, I think it was. But Daisy number 3, holy shit. Yeah. Crazy supernatural end of the world apocalypse kind of things happening here. A lot of the bastard children of this fallen angel are basically ascended.
Yeah.
And they're all a lot of them have physical deformities and stuff, and at the end of it they get I guess they get sent to heaven. I'm not sure what happens. The whole room of people just disappear.
Yeah.
No one left to fight number 2.
Nice. Aubrey Sitterson's take on Dragon Ball.
Pretty much these two guys, the Val and Timur, pretty much continue have a rematch, and in the end of it, Val disappears.
Yeah.
But it's like the artwork is just kinetic fighting.
Yeah. Pico Asio doing the art there.
Yeah. But it's just kinetic fighting. Each panel has a punch in it or something, and it's just insane that this thing runs throughout the book, this whole fight until the end.
It only works because of his art, dude.
Yeah, it was terrific. And my last honorable mention is going to be this Life Zero from
actually my number 2. I'll talk about that in a bit.
Stefano Vetti and Marco Cicchetto. It's a zombie apocalypse thing. They talk about a mysterious cloud that kills people and resurrects them as zombies.
That's not even as important as
that's not. But
Marco Cicchetto murders the art in this.
Yeah,
look at this. Just
it is
so
terrific
good.
artwork. It is beautiful artwork. It's just I was kind of expecting something a little different, and that's not what I got.
Cool. That's actually my number 2 this week.
But it is good. My number 2 is the X Deaths of Wolverine number 2.
That's my number 1. Damn, I told you it's a week, man.
But just Mora on the run, outsmarting Mystique. We got basically the Phalanx Douglock version of Wolverine hot on her trail now.
Yeah.
And we get a little more explanation about the cancer that Mora has, and that it has some kind of Krakoan component to it.
There's something going on there. This is the best. Moira she is the queen shit, dude. I keep forgetting how badass she is because she's lived all these lives and she could do all this shit. She has no fucks to give. Cuts off her own arm
in a tub full of alcohol.
Yeah, tub full of iodine, and then she cauterizes it with an iron. Just sick shit, dude.
Yeah.
Ben Percy, Federico Vicentini. she's just a pure badass, dude. Just really fun to watch her do her thing. I love watching her get over on Mystique here. Just so great. So great.
It was a good touch, like when Wolverine's there later, and like we see Mystique's skull and everything. So yeah, Moira does come off as a real badass here. Fucking Terminator Wolverine is such a daunting antagonist.
He ain't murdered nobody.
Well,
Black Tom. He murdered Black Tom.
We're so used to Wolverine, being on the good guy side, and it is kind of cool to see here, Wolverine as like the antagonist, this like implacable hunting killing machine.
Yeah.
Well, who better?
Yeah, it's a really great turn for him.
Especially if you're using, Warlock to brainwash him. You're using a techno-organic virus, to get over. But
I am surprised they dropped her arm off so quick. Like,
it did feel like it was a big part of Inferno, coming out of that and going into this. But I mean, if it's continuing
they jettisoned that plot
story,
point like immediately here.
Yeah, if this is a continuation of that story, it still works for me. It still works for me. So yeah, great issue, great choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are all my books. Taylor, you're up. Honorable mentions and number 2.
All right, I'll do an honorable mention for Secret X-Men. It was a cool looking book, and like a lot of the characters come up pretty well. Teenie Howard did a good job writing just shit-eating Beto here.
Yeah.
But also an honorable mention for X-Deaths Wolverine. I enjoyed it well enough. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Also enjoyed Superman, Son of Kal-El. Tom Taylor's always solid, so, no change in that this week.
Yeah.
My number 2, though, is going to be Avengers number 53. Basically, this is just a continuing string of here's a couple of Avengers, here's a couple of these Masters of Evil, and let's just have them beat the shit out of each other.
It was that. Namor took one to the neck from Kid Thanos, and it was I jumped out of my seat. I was like, oh, ooh, he got him.
I mean, there's not much to talk about when it comes to these books, except for it's a series of these big oh shit moments, like
this
fucking Dr. Doom.
Anything.
Yeah, Dr. Doom does like a fucking meteor swarm on the Avengers Mountain. Jane Foster just fucking decking him in the face.
Yeah, just his ass.
Yeah, tanking his spell and everything.
Great,
Black Panther coming out with his he gets to have his big Batman moment.
He was
comes
Red
out.
Panther.
Yeah, he gets to deck himself out with Moon Knight's wraps and crystals and blood and shit and
It was like the Dungeon Master was like, hey man, you can have 5 different magic items. And he was like, all right, I'm going to take them. And he just picks the best ones. Yeah, it was rad.
Yeah, Jason Aaron does a good job with these characters who are just hey, what's a dumb idea I can do with this and make it super fun? And so, yeah, we have Kid Thanos, who is creepy as shit. We have Doom Supreme, who is such a
OP, just so
OP. He's such a motherfucker, but
yeah.
Doom Supreme.
He is. It's he's got tomatoes and sour cream with Doom.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, this is as always a dumb but super fun book.
Yep.
Sometimes that's all you need from a comic, right? And this does this better than almost any other book I can think of.
Yeah, agreed. That brings it to me. My number 2, just to re-mention it, was Life Zero number 1, Stefano Vietti with Marco Cicchetto. Just a big surprise. It wouldn't have been as good without this art, right? Basically, there's a black ops team, maybe, who is breaking their captain out of prison during a zombie apocalypse, and things just go terribly wrong.
Oh, yeah. Things go terribly wrong.
By the end of it, the helicopter that they need to get out just crashes and they can't get out. So
it's reminiscent from that scene from Aliens where the
exactly
the jump ship.
Oh man, game over, man. So it's a good book, but it's all about that Cicchetto art. There's at least 3 or 4 pages here at the beginning where there's no word balloons, no insects.
Oh yeah,
just telling you a
story. Lot
with
of storytelling through the art.
Yeah, very well done. So that leads us to number 1, Dave.
My number 1 pick is going to be Apache Delivery Service number 2.
I'm still behind on this. I did snag the cover, but I did not read either issue 1 or 2. So
essentially, it is the hunt for Nazi gold in Vietnam during the Vietnam War.
It's so weird.
Apparently, the backstory.
That's a real word jumble you just threw together there.
It is. It sounds like you went to random pages in a history book and just chose words.
The story goes that after Germany surrendered, there was a Japanese captain on a destroyer who decided not to surrender.
Oh.
He had a cargo hold full of Nazi gold, and he essentially went to Vietnam to hide the gold. So
Cool.
the treasure hunter has enlisted the man known as the Apache Delivery Service. He is a man who has fought in Vietnam, is left Vietnam, and the guy has brought him back because he is the best guide for the territory, apparently.
Okay.
And there is a lot of American troops and Viet Cong fighting in this issue.
There's still Viet Cong going on? What year is it?
This is during the Vietnam War.
Oh, it's during the Vietnam War. Okay, I'm back with you now. There were so many wars being mentioned, I lost track.
I'm sorry. It spins out of World War II, hidden Nazi gold by a Japanese captain.
Nice.
It's a really crazy backstory, and there's like all this. There's like this supernatural element in there where they're like, they're talking about like nobody has time in the jungle to kind of take things easy because everything's always dying around you, and you're just part of that cycle. It's very
nice,
heady, and
that's Cy Spurrier too. No,
that's Matt Kent.
Oh, that's right, Matt Kent. That's right.
Matt Kent, Tyler Jenkins, and Hillary Jenkins are doing the art duties.
They've worked on a lot of books before.
But this is a very interesting take on the Vietnam era story with a horror element to it.
Nice, good choice. Like I said, I'm still way fucking behind on this. Well, 2 issues behind. So that leads us to our last, because mine's X Deaths of Wolverine number 2 is my number 1. So Taylor, wrap us with your number 1 book of the week.
My number 1 was this week's issue of New Mutants. I will start off first and foremost by saying I did not like the change in artist. It wasn't bad per se, but you really miss that really awesome artwork we've had in previous issues.
Yeah, it was Danilo Beirut doing the art on this one. It's usually Rod Rice.
It looks like Chutes and Ladders.
This is actually a Martin Simmons cover. Martin Simmons is the artist who does Department of Truth. And I hope he gets more Big 2 work. I really do, because he deserves it.
But the other big strength this book has had ever since the Ayala came to be the main writer is the character work. I really loved all the interactions we have here. We got to see Warstar have his reunion with Thunderbird. We got to see closure for the Lost Club kids.
Yeah, Cosmar, Scout had her moments with her sister and brother. That was very cool.
Yeah. We got to see like Danny and Rain, have a bit of a reconciliation.
Yeah, over the baby.
Yeah.
It's a lot. There's a lot in this issue.
There was. It feels like they're wrapping a lot of stuff up.
They even wrapped up what's his name? Farouk.
Yep.
They wrapped that up like he's going to Morocco to get some sort of rehab. You know?
And so that's what I think made this my number 1 is because we've seen this before, right? Like when they canceled X Factor and they were having to dump like all their shit into that last issue.
Yeah.
That didn't go well, but I'm so impressed by how well they tied up all the loose ends in this particular issue.
What did you think about No Girl?
I thought it was. I think it was a good touch. I mean, that was something
I hated it, but it was a good touch.
We were talking earlier, right, about like at the beginning of all this when Kosamar was talking to Danny Moonstar about like, hey, I want to go through the Crucible. Will you help me? And Danny was like, oh no, but there's nothing wrong with you. We were talking about it ourselves at the time. That's not your call to make.
It's like Storm giving that speech in X-Men 2. It's like, oh, great weather lady.
Yeah, like
you're going to talk down to the girl who literally can't touch anyone.
Yeah, okay, so Weather Goddess tells girl who can never have human contact that there's nothing wrong with her, Yeah. Same deal here. Okay, supermodel Danny Moonstar tells girl who is deformed by her own powers. So yeah, I like the way that they came back around to that. I like the way that they made it a good character study.
Yeah.
So yeah, the character work of this book has always been spot on, and this week was no exception. It has consistently been awesome, and I'm super impressed by how well they did what is normally a thankless job of trying to like wrap up so much in one issue.
Where does it go from here? Is it all brand new now? I mean,
I assume they're probably like hitting the reset button as we go into Destiny of X here. I don't know if we're getting a new creative team or like what the hell that happens. I hope not, because this writer is awesome.
No,
And this artist wasn't bad, but we should bring back that dude
Rod
from
Rice.
Rod Rice.
Come back this book.
He was perfect for this book, and I want to see him back on it.
It feels like that Sienkiewicz art, from back in the day. It really makes it work. But yeah, again, solid book, solid series, solid issue. But I was really thrown off by, hey, we fixed Cosmar. Okay, great. Oh, we're gonna fix No Girl too. Wait, what? She hadn't even been mentioned needing fixing. Now you just.
I mean, she was part of that group. That whole thing with that group in the first place was that like they were the ones who didn't like the way that they were. You know?
Yeah.
So it didn't come from nowhere.
It's true, but it's weird to me. So now No Girl is just totally different now. Totally.
Sarah Bella, I think, is her name.
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah, I think I have it here. She says it down here. Yeah, Sarah Bella. I'm sorry, that's dumb. That's a dumb name. I don't even know what No Girl's powers are. I thought her powers were that she was a brain that could stay alive.
I think that's it. Like maybe she must be psychic if she could communicate as a brain. So she's like, mutant psychic number 5,000.
Yeah.
They actually made a joke about that in Secret X-Men this week, which I thought was kind of fun.
Not having a psychic on the team.
Yeah, like you can't throw a rock without hitting a psychic mutant.
I was really kind of let down by Secret X-Men. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the run. Boom Boom had some great moments. That's really the only reason I picked it up, because Boom Boom's great. But
it was definitely
a weird
honorable mention
where like Deathbird was like
for me.
Where Deathbird was like, let's do a test of the X-Men by pretending that what's her name got kidnapped.
This is one of those books where like
stupid.
You can tell that like the premise informed, like they had to build everything around like wanting to get all the people who lost the election into a story together. And
why? It just seemed pointless at the end. By the end of it, I was like, well, that was totally pointless. That was stupid.
That's always the bad way to approach a story, right? Like here's not like, here's a story I think works organically, but rather like here's something. Here's like the corporate notes make it a story.
Yes, yeah.
But that being said, it was pretty good for that.
Oh yeah, then the art was fantastic. The art was very fun. And again, anything with Boom Boom in it.
It was probably the best
mid-riff. I'm reading it.
Oh, Gomer! But it was probably I think the best art of any X book this week.
Yeah, it's weird that there were 3 X books and they were all above par. But nothing beats Moira. That was my number 1 again. X-Death Wolverine. Number 2, Ben Percy.
Moira really was a boss in this book.
She's awesome, dude. I keep forgetting how boss she really is because she's lived 10 lives. I keep forgetting she's got all of these centuries now of just.
Especially that one life where like it was like the human. Actually, that ties in with what's going on in this story where like humanity was trying to get absorbed into the Phalanx.
Yes.
She lived like thousands and thousands of years in that one life.
Yeah. And the one where she was joined Apocalypse, that was a long time.
Yeah, that was several generations later, right? That one finally ended.
And now in this book, she's got her sniper rifle out. She's ready to do some more damage. That goes right back to the life she had. I think it was life 3, where she's murdering, all the mutants or all the mutant killers.
Yeah, she was like her Black Ops life, whichever one that one was.
Dude. Love that shit. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that book. I didn't expect it to be a Moira book, but I'm enjoying it more than I think the other one, the Quantum Leap one.
I am enjoying the Quantum Leap one.
I'm not hating it, but
I at least appreciate that this one is easier to follow.
Oh, for sure, definitely. So yeah, it's kind of a weak week. Thanks everybody for listening. We are out. Big game tonight. Watch the game, definitely. But come back tomorrow night because we are going to talk about all of the books coming out next week. It is a much better week next week for books. Comic Book Bully should be back tonight. I'm not sure if they're having a show tonight because of the game. They didn't have a show last week, which is a bit off-putting because usually they're like, oh, yeah, we're not doing a show tonight for whatever reason. So, yeah, keep coming back to everything that we've got going on. Check out our links at outrightgeekery.com for just ways to get to everything that we've got going on, social media, merch, Patreon, you name it, we've got it. So yeah, again, thanks everybody for hanging out, but most of all, thanks to these jokers for hanging out with this joker.
You're all so welcome.
Always fun.
We're going to do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.
Kind of subdued this week there, David.
Oh, man. He is cool, calm, and collected. He's making his Super Bowl bets on DraftKings.
Bet MGM.